You stand at a threshold, perhaps feeling the familiar weariness that comes from constant striving, from pushing against a world that often feels indifferent, even resistant, to your deepest desires. You carry within you a sense of longing, for greater ease, for flowing abundance, for connections that nourish the soul, for a life imbued with purpose and peace. Deep down, you suspect there must be a more graceful way, a path less traveled, one that doesn't demand relentless struggle, but invites effortless becoming. That suspicion is correct. The pathway exists, not in shouting louder or working harder against external forces, but in cultivating a profound and subtle power within the quiet landscape of your own being. This power lies dormant until recognized, like a hidden spring beneath dry earth. Today, we embark on a sacred journey together, a voyage into the heart of manifestation itself. We will uncover the principles behind the resonance key, learning how to unlock the very doors of prosperity without the frantic chase that so often leaves us depleted and disheartened. This isn't about manipulating the external world through sheer force of will. It is about mastering the ancient subtle art of inner alignment, of becoming so attuned to the frequency of your desires that they are drawn to you naturally, magnetically, like iron filings to a lodestone. It's time to lay down the heavy tools of effort and control, and instead learn to wield the exquisite instrument of your own inner resonance. Prepare to shift from chasing to attracting, from striving to allowing. The universe operates on principles of harmony and vibration, and you are about to learn its most elegant language. Let the unfolding begin. Imagine for a moment that the life you truly yearn for, a life brimming with vibrant health, flowing financial ease, meaningful relationships, and creative fulfillment, resides just beyond a doorway. This door isn't fashioned from ordinary materials like wood or steel. It's an energetic portal, unseen by the physical eye, but profoundly real in its influence upon your experience. Perhaps for years, you have been standing before this door, employing all the methods you were taught. You've pushed with all your might, rattled the handle in frustration, perhaps even tried to pry it open with clever strategies or sheer willpower, only to find it remains stubbornly closed. The resistance feels palpable. The desired reality just out of reach. Here lies the fundamental misunderstanding that keeps so many seekers locked in a cycle of effort and disappointment. The belief that the obstacle is external. The great secret, whispered down through ages by mystics, poets, and sages who understood the subtle mechanics of reality, is this: the door possesses no external lock that needs picking or forcing. The barrier is not outside of you. The key, the sole mechanism required to swing that door wide open, resides entirely within your own being. This master key is your resonance. What is this resonance key? It is not a physical object you must find, or a complex technique you must master through arduous practice. It is the intrinsic vibrational quality of your inner state, the sum total of who you are being in any given moment. Think of it as a unique energetic signature composed of the dominant frequencies of your thoughts, the pervasive currents of your deepest feelings, and the unwavering conviction of your core beliefs, all vibrating together in a complex yet singular chord. It is the music your soul constantly plays, broadcast out into the quantum field. When this inner chord, this resonance key, harmonizes perfectly, purely, and consistently with the specific vibrational frequency of what you desire, be it the ease of prosperity, the warmth of love, the stillness of peace, something remarkable occurs. The unseen energetic door recognizes its matching frequency and silently, effortlessly swings open. You do not need to chase prosperity down, you simply need to resonate at its frequency, like a perfectly tuned tuning fork causing another nearby. fork of the same pitch to vibrate spontaneously, your aligned inner state naturally attracts its corresponding external reality. Prosperity flows to you because you have become a vibrational match for it. This isn't magic in the conventional sense of spells and incantations aimed at manipulating external forces. It is the profound, inherent magic woven into the fabric of the universe itself, the law of vibrational attraction. The universe, in its infinite intelligence, doesn't primarily respond to your desperate pleas, your forceful demands, or even your meticulously planned actions if they stem from a place of lack or dissonance. It responds with unwavering accuracy to the persistent signal you emit, the consistent frequency of your being, the dominant note sounded by your resonance key. Grasping this principle is the first, most crucial step on the path to effortless manifestation. Your inner world holds the lock and the key. In a quiet village nestled beside the whispering trees of an ancient forest lived Ilara, a weaver whose fingers possessed undeniable skill, but whose heart carried the heavy weight of constant struggle. She dreamt vivid dreams of creating tapestries that didn't just depict scenes, but seemed to shimmer with the very essence of life, attracting discerning patrons who would recognize their value and grant her the financial freedom she craved. Yet reality felt harsh. Her threads, no matter how carefully handled, seemed prone to tangling. Her designs, born from effort, felt stiff and lifeless. The loom itself often felt like an adversary, resisting her attempts to impose her will upon it. Frustration became the backdrop to her days, a constant hum beneath the clatter of the shuttle. One overcast afternoon, seeking solace from her mounting despair, Ilara wandered deep into the forest's embracing quiet. The air was cool, smelling of damp earth and moss. Her hand, trailing absently over the smooth surface of a moss-covered boulder, brushed against a small, dark river stone, worn perfectly round and smooth by perhaps centuries of the stream's gentle, persistent flow. She picked it up, its coolness seeping into her palm. As she held it, cradling its weight, an unexpected and profound stillness settled over her, quieting the usual chatter in her mind. The stone wasn't merely inert, it seemed to possess a subtle vibration, a quiet hum of resonance. In that moment of clarity, an understanding bloomed within her like a slow opening flower. Perhaps I am like these tangled threads, she thought, because I fight the natural weave of things. Perhaps the secret of this stone, shaped by yielding water, is not force, but allowing its own nature. Returning to her cottage and her loom, Ilara approached her work with a completely different energy. She didn't try to force the threads into submission. Instead, she began to listen to them, feeling their inherent texture, noticing their natural inclination to bend and flow. She held the memory of the smooth stone in her mind, cultivating that inner stillness, that quiet, receptive resonance she had felt in the forest. Her focus shifted dramatically. She stopped thinking about selling the tapestry, about impressing potential buyers, about escaping her worries. Her entire attention centered on finding the harmony between herself, the tactile quality of the threads, and the emerging pattern that seemed to arise organically from this state of flow. Weeks melted into this new rhythm. One day, a traveling merchant, renowned throughout the land for his impeccable taste and discerning eye for true artistry, happened to pass through her village. He wasn't looking for anything specific, but he later recounted feeling an inexplicable pull towards Ilara's humble cottage. Peeking through the open doorway, he saw her latest tapestry hanging, bathed in the soft afternoon light. It was unlike anything he had ever encountered. Woven not from strained effort but from palpable flow, it seemed alive, breathing with a quiet, luminous power. "I have never," he whispered, his voice filled with awe, "seen such work. It speaks to the soul." He offered her a sum that far exceeded her most optimistic hopes, enough to alleviate her worries for a long time. Elara hadn't chased success down dusty roads. She had simply become the living resonance of her art, and success, like a magnetized traveler, had found its own way to her open door. Find a quiet haven, a space where you can remain undisturbed for 5 to 10 minutes. Allow yourself to settle into a comfortable position, either sitting upright with a straight spine or lying down if that feels more relaxing. Gently close your eyes, signaling to your body and mind that it is time to turn inward. Take 3 slow, deliberate breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose, filling your lungs, and exhale slowly through your mouth, consciously releasing any tension you might be holding in your shoulders, your jaw, or your belly. Now gently shift your awareness from the external world to your inner landscape. Bring your focus to the center of your chest, the area often associated with the heart and its energetic field. Don't strive to feel anything spectacular or force any particular sensation. Simply rest your attention in this inner space with gentle curiosity. Imagine deep within this core of your being, a point of profound stillness and silence. Picture it perhaps as the quiet center of Elara's ancient river stone, or as a tiny, unwavering flame, or simply as an area of deep calm. This stillness is not empty, it is potent. It is the raw, undifferentiated potential from which your unique resonance key emerges. Spend these few minutes just being with this inner stillness. Feel its quiet strength, its inherent peace. Notice any sensations that arise, perhaps warmth, a gentle pulsing, or simply a sense of spaciousness. If thoughts drift in, acknowledge them without judgment, like clouds passing in the sky, and gently guide your focus back to the stillness. Know that this quiet center is your true source, the place where you connect with the infinite potential of the universe. This is the foundation upon which you build your resonant state. When you feel ready, take one more deep breath, carrying the essence of this inner quiet with you as you slowly and gently open your eyes, returning to the room but retaining that connection to your inner key. Society bombards us from our earliest years with the narrative that success is forged solely in the fires of struggle and relentless effort. We internalize axioms like no pain, no gain, learning to equate achievement with pushing, striving, and imposing our will upon the circumstances of our lives. We are taught to admire the relentless hustle, the brute force approach to overcoming obstacles, and while focused, intentional action certainly has its place on the path to bringing our desires into form. The kind of forceful effort born from a place of deep-seated lack, fear, or anxiety often creates the very resistance we are trying to overcome. It becomes a self-defeating prophecy. Consider the simple act of trying to grasp water tightly in your fist. The harder you clench, the more desperately you try to contain it, the faster it slips through your fingers, leaving you with nothing but a damp, empty hand. Forceful effort, especially when it is fueled by the anxious energy of not having what you desire, sends out a discordant, agitated frequency into the universe. This frequency doesn't communicate your desire, it broadcasts the vibration of its absence. It shouts lack, scarcity, difficulty into the quantum field, and the universe, being an impeccable mirror, reflects that very energy back to you, reinforcing the challenging conditions you so desperately wish to escape. This constant pushing against reality creates friction, drains your vital energy, and paradoxically makes the door to your desires even harder to open. The resonance key operates on an entirely different, more elegant principle, the principle of non-resistance. This is often misunderstood. Non-resistance does not equate to passive resignation, lazy inaction, or simply giving up on your dreams. Rather, it signifies a profound shift in your energetic posture. It means consciously choosing to align your inner energy before you engage in outer action. It involves the courageous act of releasing the desperate, clutching need for a specific outcome, letting go of the frantic chase, and instead cultivating an inner state of deep trust, openness, and allowing. When you consciously cease pushing against the current of life, when you stop fighting reality as it is, you naturally begin to flow with it. Imagine a swimmer fighting against a strong river current versus one who turns and allows the current to carry them downstream towards their destination. Prosperity, like a delicate butterfly, rarely lands on a hand that lunges and grasps for it frantically. It is invariably drawn to the stillness and invitation of an open palm, offered in quiet, trust and expectation. Letting go of the ego's compulsive need to control how and when your desires manifest allows the universe's infinite intelligence, which sees the bigger picture, to orchestrate events, synchronicities, and opportunities in ways far more ingenious and graceful than our limited conscious minds can ever conceive. True, sustainable power lies not in the application of brute force, but in the effortless potency of aligned, surrendered flow. It's about finding the current and riding it rather than swimming against it. Finn was a sculptor whose studio resonated not with the joy of creation, but with the grunts and sighs of struggle. His muscles constantly ached from the forceful hammering required to subdue the stubborn blocks of stone he worked with. He held magnificent forms clear in his mind's eye, visions of grace and power trapped within the raw material. Yet, the marble often betrayed him, developing unforeseen cracks under the relentless force of his blows, or the finished piece, though technically accurate, felt cold and lifeless, utterly lacking the vibrant spirit he so yearned to capture and express. He found himself blaming the inherent flaws in the stone, the inadequacy of his tools, even his own flagging physical strength. His workshop became a place of echoing frustration rather than sacred creation. One sweltering afternoon, physically and creatively exhausted, Finn abandoned his dusty studio and wandered down to a nearby stream that cascaded playfully over time-smoothed rocks. He sat on the bank, watching the relentless yet gentle movement of the water. He observed how this soft, yielding element had, over countless millennia, carved intricate, smooth channels and hollows into the hardest granite boulders, not through sudden, violent force, but through persistent, adaptable, gentle flow. An insight struck him, with the clarity of a cool splash of water on his face. The water does not fight the rock, he mused. It doesn't try to shatter it in one blow. It yields, it embraces contours. It finds the path of least resistance, and, in this very yielding, it powerfully shapes. He returned to his studio later that day, carrying a newfound sense of reverence, not just for the stone, but for the process itself. Picking up his chisel and mallet, he approached the waiting block of marble differently. He didn't launch an immediate assault. Instead, he placed his hand gently upon its cool surface, closing his eyes, trying to sense its internal structure, its hidden veins, its inherent potential waiting to be revealed rather than forced out. He began to work with the stone, collaborating with its nature instead of fighting against it. When his chisel met unexpected resistance, he didn't automatically apply more force. He paused, listened with his hands and his intuition, and sought a different angle, a more harmonious path. His movements gradually became less effortful, evolving into something more akin to a fluid dance between artist and material. The statue that emerged weeks later was unlike anything he had ever created. It seemed to possess an inner light, to breathe with the very spirit he had always sought but failed to capture through force. It wasn't just a representation. It felt like an emergence. As fate would have it, a visiting curator, known for his sharp eye and tendency to ignore unsolicited artists, felt an inexplicable urge to wander down the side street where Finn's modest workshop stood. Glancing through the dusty window, his eyes locked onto the newly finished statue. He was mesmerized, rooted to the spot. Entering the studio, he examined the piece from all angles. "It's extraordinary," the curator finally breathed. "It's as if the stone itself desired to become this form." Finn's masterpiece wasn't born from his struggle against the material, but from his profound realization and application of non-resistance, the gentle, persistent, and ultimately more powerful path of flow. Find a comfortable position where you can relax undisturbed. Close your eyes and allow your body to settle. Bring your awareness to your breath, noticing the gentle rise and fall of your chest or abdomen. Now, transport yourself in your imagination to the bank of a beautiful, clear river. See the sunlight sparkling on the water's surface. Hear the gentle murmur of its movement. Feel the peaceful atmosphere of the scene. Observe how the river flows effortlessly downstream, navigating around large rocks, bending smoothly around curves in the landscape, never appearing to struggle or strain. It simply follows the path of least resistance, its power residing in its constant fluid motion. Now gently bring to mind an area in your current life where you feel a sense of struggle, where you perceive yourself pushing against resistance, perhaps related to your finances, a challenging relationship, a stalled project, or a health concern. Visualize this struggle as a large, jagged rock situated firmly in the middle of your imaginary riverbed. Feel the tension, the frustration, the effort involved in trying to push this rock out of the way, or perhaps even trying to break it apart with sheer force. Notice the churning water, the sense of being stuck. Now, make a conscious, intentional shift. Decide to become the water itself. Feel your energy transforming from solid effort into fluid, allowing. Instead of fighting the rock, feel yourself as the river flowing around it. Sense the immediate release of tension as you cease the direct confrontation. Notice how the river naturally finds alternative channels, parting smoothly around the obstacle and rejoining on the other side, its overall downstream momentum uninterrupted. Embrace the feeling of effortless flow resuming. Stay with this sensation of yielding, adapting, and flowing around the obstacle for several minutes. Understand deeply that letting go of the direct fight doesn't signify giving up on reaching your destination, the ocean of your desire. It means trusting a wiser, more powerful current, the flow of universal intelligence, to carry you there with greater ease and grace. When you feel complete, bring your awareness back to your breath and gently open your eyes. Consider your entire being, your mind, body, emotions, and spirit, as an exquisitely crafted musical instrument, perhaps a violin, a cello, or a harp. The strings of this instrument represent your thoughts, the ones you play repeatedly throughout your day. The resonant chamber, which amplifies the sound, is your heart space, the seat of your emotions. The music produced is the overall feeling tone, the emotional state that characterizes your experience of life. This inner instrument is never silent. It is constantly playing, broadcasting its unique frequency, its specific vibrational signature, out into the vast, responsive field of the universe. This broadcast is your vibrational frequency. The concept of the resonance key, in this context, becomes beautifully simple. It is the conscious act of tuning this inner instrument. It's about deliberately choosing the notes and chords you wish to play until they resonate clearly and consistently with the frequency of the reality you desire to experience. Crucially, you cannot effectively tune your instrument by focusing solely on the discordant notes, the persistent fears, the nagging doubts, the ingrained beliefs of scarcity or unworthiness. Trying to aggressively fight or suppress negative thoughts and feelings often has the paradoxical effect of amplifying them, giving them more energy and attention, like repeatedly striking a dissonant chord, hoping it will somehow sound harmonious. Instead, the art of tuning lies in gently, deliberately, and persistently introducing the desired harmony. Ask yourself, what does the feeling of abundant prosperity truly evoke within me? Is it a sense of profound ease, unwavering security, expansive generosity, liberating freedom, or effervescent joy? What does the feeling of deep, authentic connection resonate as? Perhaps warmth spreading through your chest, unshakable trust, a sense of belonging or comforting safety. The key is to identify these core feeling tones associated with your fulfilled desires, and then consciously practice cultivating these feelings within your own being, regardless of your current external circumstances. This is how you adjust your vibrational frequency. It's not about mental gymnastics or forced positivity. It's about aligning your inner music, the authentic song of your heart, with the grand symphony of abundance, love, and well-being that the universe perpetually offers. When your inner song consistently matches the frequency of prosperity, like a musician drawn to a harmonious melody, recognizes its echo in you and naturally gravitates toward your experience. You cease to be separate from your desire. You become a living, breathing, vibrational match for it. The external reality has no choice but to eventually conform to the dominant vibration you consistently offer. Maya possessed extraordinary technical skill on the violin. Her fingers danced across the fingerboard with breathtaking precision, hitting every note, every complex passage, flawlessly. Her practice regimen was rigorous, her dedication unquestionable. Yet despite this technical brilliance, her performances often left audiences feeling strangely unmoved, appreciative of the skill but untouched in their hearts. Critics acknowledged her precision, but lamented a perceived lack of soul or emotional depth in her playing. Maya, driven and ambitious, responded by practicing even harder, pushing herself relentlessly towards an ever-elusive perfection. But the emotional chasm between her playing and the audience's experience remained stubbornly wide. Discouraged and creatively drained, she took a hiatus, retreating to a small, secluded cabin nestled deep in the woods, far from concert halls and critical ears. One tranquil evening, sitting by the window as twilight painted the sky in hues of violet and rose, she picked up her beloved violin. This time, however, she didn't intend to practice scales or rehearse demanding concertos. She simply wanted to play what her heart felt in that moment, without thinking about technique or impressing anyone or achieving perfection. She allowed the music to flow. She played the quiet melancholy of the fading light, the soft whisper of the wind rustling through the ancient pines outside her window, the unexpected gentle joy bubbling up from the solitude. The music wasn't executed. It flowed through her, raw, vulnerable, and utterly authentic. As darkness fully descended, a hiker who had become lost on the trails was drawn irresistibly by the sound drifting through the trees, music unlike any he had ever heard before. It wasn't just a sequence of notes. It felt like pure emotion made audible, a direct transmission from the soul. Following the sound, he found Maya's cabin and stood outside, hidden in the shadows, listening, completely captivated. As it happened, the hiker was a renowned music producer, weary of the technically perfect but often sterile recordings that dominated the industry. He recognized in Maya's untamed, heartfelt playing the very authenticity, the soulfulness he had been searching for. Later, introducing himself, he urged her, "Play like that. Forget perfection. Play your truth." Taking his words to heart, Maya began to approach her music differently upon her return. She started performing from this place of authentic feeling, tuning her inner instrument, not just to the precise notes written on the page, but to the deep, resonant frequency of her own heart's landscape. Her career underwent a profound transformation. Audiences no longer just heard impressive technique. They felt the music resonate within their own beings, connecting deeply with the genuine emotion she now bravely shared. She hadn't needed more hours of practice or more complex pieces. She needed the courage to tune into and express her own vibrational truth. Prepare a notebook and pen or open a fresh document on your device. Find a quiet moment where you can reflect without interruption. At the top of the page, write down one significant desire you are currently focusing on. Examples: flowing financial ease, harmonious loving partnership, effortless creative flow, vibrant health and energy. Now, close your eyes for a few moments. Gently bring your desire into your mind's eye. Let go of any thoughts about how it will manifest, when it will arrive, or any obstacles you perceive. Instead, shift your entire focus to imagining that this desire is already fully, completely realized in your life right now. Immerse yourself in that reality. The crucial step is to connect with the associated feeling. How does this fulfilled desire feel within your body, within your emotional landscape? If it's financial ease, does it feel like deep relief, calm security, expansive freedom, joyful generosity? If it's a loving partnership, perhaps the dominant feelings are warmth, unshakable trust, deep connection, playful joy, profound safety. Allow these feeling words to surface naturally. Write them down on your page. From the words you've listed, circle or highlight the one or two that resonate most powerfully, the ones that feel like the absolute core essence of the fulfilled desire for you. Now, set your pen down and close your eyes again. For the next 5 to 10 minutes, consciously choose to cultivate this primary feeling tone or tones within your being. Don't strain or force it, gently invite it in. Breathe into the feeling. Imagine it as a warm color or a soft light filling your chest, expanding outwards through your limbs. Let it permeate your awareness. If your mind wanders, gently guide it back to simply feeling this chosen state. This practice isn't about mentally visualizing the outcome. It's about physically and emotionally tuning your inner instrument to the precise frequency of your already fulfilled desire. Make this a daily practice, dedicating a few minutes each day to consciously marinating in the feeling tone of your dreams realized. In our modern culture, characterized by relentless self-promotion, constant social media updates, and the pressure to share every aspect of our lives, we have largely forgotten a subtle yet profound power, the power inherent in silence, particularly when nurturing a newly formed intention or a deeply held desire. Consider the humble seed planted carefully in the dark, fertile earth. It requires the quiet, undisturbed sanctuary of the soil, shielded from harsh light and probing fingers, to undergo the delicate and miraculous process of germination. Digging it up daily to anxiously check its progress, or loudly announcing its exact location and expected bloom time to every passerby, disrupts the intricate energetic and biological processes necessary for it to take root and sprout. This interference, born of impatience or the need for external validation, often proves detrimental to the seed's potential. Your deepest desires, especially in their nascent, vulnerable stages, are much like these precious seeds. They require the fertile darkness of your inner world, the protective enclosure of sacred silence, to gather the necessary energetic charge, establish strong roots in your subconscious, and build momentum before they are ready to manifest visibly in the external world. Sharing your most cherished intentions prematurely, particularly with individuals who, consciously or unconsciously, may project doubt, fear, envy, or limiting beliefs onto your dream, can inadvertently dissipate its fragile energy. It's akin to opening the door of an incubator, allowing the essential warmth and carefully regulated atmosphere to escape, potentially jeopardizing the delicate life developing within. Doubt from others, or even your own need to constantly justify your desire, can introduce discordant frequencies that interfere with the pure signal you are trying to establish. The resonance key is forged most powerfully in the quiet, unwavering crucible of your own heart and mind. holding your intention gently, privately, almost reverently, imbued with unwavering faith and positive expectation, allows its unique vibrational signature to strengthen and clarify without external interference or dilution. This is not about cultivating secrecy born of shame or fear of judgment. Rather, it stems from a deep reverence for the sacredness of the creative process itself. It reflects an understanding that some potent energies are best nurtured in the inner sanctum of your being, until they have gained sufficient substance and resilience to emerge gracefully and powerfully into the light of day. Within this protected sacred silence, your belief solidifies. Your resonance becomes clearer and more focused, and the magnetic pull of your personal resonance key intensifies significantly, drawing the necessary components for manifestation towards you with increasing power. Liam was known throughout his village primarily for one thing: his impressive collection of rare and exotic seeds gathered painstakingly from distant, sun-drenched lands and remote mountain valleys. He was immensely proud of these tiny capsules of potential life, constantly showing them off to neighbors and visitors, boasting with great enthusiasm about the magnificent, unparalleled plants they were destined to become. When planting season arrived, he would make a great ceremony of it, inviting onlookers, explaining his elaborate techniques, and telling everyone exactly where each precious seed was buried and what glorious bloom or fruit it would yield. Yet, despite his knowledge and enthusiasm, season after disappointing season, his garden yielded mostly frustration. Many seeds failed to sprout altogether. Those that did often grew into weak, spindly plants that produced meager flowers or withered. Before bearing fruit, Liam, perplexed and disheartened, blamed the unpredictable weather, the poor quality of the village soil, or simply persistent bad luck. One year, an old hermit who lived a solitary life deep in the nearby woods and whose small hidden garden was rumored to flourish with mysterious and vibrant abundance regardless of the season, paid a rare visit to the village. Liam, desperate for answers, eagerly showed the wise old man his prized collection of seeds, lamenting his consistent lack of success. The hermit listened patiently, his eyes twinkling slightly as he examined the seeds. He then smiled gently, a network of fine wrinkles deepening around his eyes. "You give them too much noise," he said softly, his voice raspy like dry leaves. "Seeds, like secrets of the heart, thrive best in quiet trust." Though puzzled by the cryptic advice, Liam felt a resonance of truth in the hermit's words. He decided to try an experiment. From his next batch of seeds, he saved one particularly special seed, one said to produce flowers of an extraordinary celestial blue. This time he didn't show it to anyone. He spoke of it to no one. He found a secluded, sheltered spot in a forgotten corner of his garden, hidden from casual view by overgrown shrubs. With no fanfare, no witnesses, he planted the seed, not with boastful pronouncements of its future glory, but with a quiet feeling of simple reverence and unwavering trust in its innate potential. He watered it gently when needed, kept the surrounding soil clear of weeds, but mostly he practiced leaving it undisturbed within its cocoon of sacred silence. He consciously resisted the urge to constantly check on it or talk about it. He simply held the quiet, confident knowing within his heart that life was unfolding beneath the surface. Weeks later, a single robust sprout emerged from the soil, stronger and more vibrant in color than any seedling he had ever cultivated before. It grew rapidly, unfurling healthy leaves, seemingly impervious to the minor challenges that plagued his other plants. Eventually, it produced a single, breathtakingly beautiful flower of the deepest, most luminous blue imaginable, radiating an almost palpable energy of well-being. Liam finally understood. The power wasn't solely contained within the seed itself. A significant part of the magic lay in the silent, trusting, undisturbed space he had held for it to fulfill its potential. He learned the profound creative power embedded in sacred silence. Select one specific desire or intention that you wish to nurture with focused energy and care. Choose something that feels significant and exciting to you right now. Take a clean sheet of paper, preferably one that feels special in some way, and write down your intention clearly, concisely, and in the present tense, as if it is already so. For example, I am enjoying vibrant health and boundless energy, or I am gratefully receiving unexpected streams of abundance, or I am embraced in a loving, supportive partnership. Read your written intention aloud once, slowly and with feeling. As you read it, connect deeply with the feeling of this statement already being your reality. Tap into the emotions you practiced cultivating in the previous chapter's exercise, the relief, the joy, the security, the love. Allow this feeling to permeate your being for a few moments. Now, carefully fold the paper. As you fold it, infuse it with your trust and positive expectation. Find a special designated place to keep this folded intention safe and undisturbed. This could be a small, beautiful box, tucked inside the pages of a book that inspires you, placed respectfully on a personal altar if you use one, or even carried in a specific pocket or pouch that you designate as its sacred container. The physical location matters less than the energetic intention behind placing it there. Place your folded intention in its chosen sanctuary with a sense of quiet reverence and complete trust in the unfolding process. Make a conscious, deliberate decision not to constantly unfold it, reread it obsessively, talk about it needlessly or anxiously, monitor for immediate results. Consider it a seed planted in the fertile ground of the universe's potential. Every time the thought of this desire arises in your mind during the day, gently redirect your focus away from any hows or whens, and instead briefly reconnect with the feeling of its fulfillment and reaffirm your quiet trust that it is germinating perfectly in its own divine timing, nurtured within the protective embrace of this sacred silence. Your primary role now is to hold the resonant space of belief and trusting the universal intelligence to orchestrate the details of its manifestation. Having journeyed through the foundational understanding, recognizing the resonance key within, perceiving the limitations of forceful effort, grasping the significance of vibrational frequency, and valuing the power of sacred silence, we now transition into the heart of conscious creation. We move from passive comprehension to active participation. This phase is about deliberately, consciously crafting your personal resonance key. Imagine yourself not as someone desperately searching for a lost key, but as a skilled artisan, patiently and lovingly shaping the key that will effortlessly unlock the doors to your desired reality. This crafting process, however, is not akin to strenuous metalwork or complex engineering. It does not involve intellectual strain or forceful manipulation. Instead, it mirrors the gentle yet focused work of an artist shaping soft clay on a wheel, or a musician listening intently to find the perfect, resonant note. The most potent crafting happens in moments of profound stillness, guided by the subtle compass of your feelings, rather than by the often frantic and limiting directives of your analytical mind. Crafting your key involves dedicating specific, intentional moments of quiet focus, purely to aligning your inner energy with the vibrational essence of your desire. It signifies moving beyond passively hoping or wishing for change and actively choosing the specific resonance you wish to embody and broadcast. This is not about forcing yourself to visualize intricate, detailed scenarios for hours on end, nor is it about mindlessly repeating affirmations until they lose all meaning. The process is far simpler, yet infinitely deeper. It begins by identifying the core feeling associated with your already fulfilled desire. As we explored earlier, what is the absolute essence of the experience you seek? Is it the feeling of profound relief that washes over you when financial pressures dissolve? Is it the encompassing warmth and security of a truly loving connection? Is it the exhilarating flow of unhindered creative expression? Once you identify this core feeling tone, the crafting process involves deliberately cultivating that specific feeling within your being during dedicated moments of stillness. You are consciously selecting and amplifying the primary frequency of your personal resonance key, like Ilara focusing not on the finished tapestry, but on the harmony of the weaving process, or Finn sensing the inherent potential within the stone before striking the first blow. You attune yourself primarily to the essence, the feeling signature of your fulfilled desire. Allow that chosen resonance to gently permeate your inner space, soaking into your cells, recalibrating your energy field. This conscious cultivation, practiced regularly in stillness, is the art of forging your unique resonance key. Ilara, having experienced the unexpected success that blossomed from her initial shift into resonant flow, now faced a new, more daunting challenge. A wealthy and influential patron, deeply moved by her first tapestry of flow, commissioned her to create a much larger, more intricate piece for his grand hall. This commission represented not just artistic recognition, but the potential for lasting financial security, lifting her permanently from the worries that had plagued her for so long. The very weight of this opportunity, however, threatened to reignite old habits. Pressure mounted, anxiety gnawed at the edges of her mind, and she felt the familiar urge to plan meticulously, control every detail, and push herself relentlessly. The very approach that had previously led to tangled threads and creative blocks. Wisely, she remembered the profound lesson learned from the smooth river stone and the effortless emergence of her first truly resonant tapestry. She knew, deep down, that she couldn't force this new, grander creation through worry and control. Either the stakes were higher, making the temptation to strive even stronger, but the principle remained the same. So instead of immediately rushing to her loom or frantically sketching complex designs, Ilara dedicated a portion of each morning to intentional stillness. She would sit quietly in her sunlit workspace, the loom waiting patiently nearby. During this time, she deliberately resisted the urge to plan, calculate costs, or worry about the patron's expectations. Her sole focus was to gently invite and cultivate the feeling of the already completed magnificent tapestry. She didn't strain to visualize every intricate detail of the final image. Instead, she focused intently on the essence, the core, energetic signature she desired the finished work to convey, a profound sense of peace, an aura of quiet abundance, an intricate yet harmonious beauty. She allowed the feeling of deep satisfaction that comes from a work well done and fully realized to fill her being. She basked in the feeling of gratitude for her own skills and the opportunity entrusted to her. She cultivated a sense of calm, assurance regarding the tapestry's inherent value and its perfect unfolding. She held these feelings gently but consistently, letting them soak into her awareness like vibrant dyes, soaking into raw silk threads. After several consecutive days, immersed in this practice of inner crafting, something shifted. Suddenly, effortlessly, a complete and intricate pattern bloomed with stunning clarity in her mind's eye, a design far more beautiful, complex, and organically harmonious than anything her anxious mind could have possibly conceived or forced. Through sheer effort, when she finally approached her loom, it felt different. Her hands moved with a confident, intuitive ease, seemingly guided by the resonant pattern she had first meticulously crafted and solidified within the stillness of her own being. The resulting tapestry was indeed hailed as her masterpiece, its breathtaking beauty radiating the very qualities of peace, abundance, and harmony she had so patiently cultivated within herself before touching a single thread. Allocate 5 to 10 minutes for this practice, ensuring you won't be disturbed. Choose one primary core feeling that most potently represents your desire already being fulfilled. Examples: joy, security, freedom, connection, peace, ease, vibrancy. Find a comfortable seated position, gently close your eyes, and take 3 slow, grounding breaths to center yourself. Now intentionally bring your chosen feeling tone to the forefront of your awareness. Don't try to analyze why you want it or how you'll get it. Simply focus on the pure sensation of the feeling itself. Where do you sense this feeling most strongly? In your body. Perhaps you perceive it as a gentle warmth radiating from your heart center, a pleasant lightness spreading through your limbs, a deep sense of calm settling in your belly, or a subtle smile forming on your lips. Allow this feeling, this sensation, to gently expand. Imagine it filling your entire inner space, from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. Breathe into it, allowing each inhalation to nourish the feeling and each exhalation to release any tension that might hinder it. If your mind naturally wanders off into thoughts or worries, gently and kindly acknowledge them, and then redirect your focus back to cultivating the chosen feeling. Imagine this feeling is the raw, precious material, perhaps soft gold or luminous light, from which your unique resonance key is being fashioned. In this moment, you are polishing it, refining its frequency, increasing its clarity and power, simply by giving it your calm, focused, loving attention. Hold this resonance without any sense of striving or needing to make something happen. Just allow the feeling to be fully present within you. Conclude the practice by taking one more deep breath and silently affirming to yourself with quiet conviction, "This resonance is mine. I am this frequency." As you dedicate yourself to consciously crafting and consistently maintaining the frequency of your resonance key, a subtle yet profound dialogue begins with the universe. The focused, coherent signal you are now emitting does not go unnoticed. The universe, being inherently responsive and reflective, starts to mirror back your inner state. It communicates its acknowledgement not through loud declarations or dramatic events initially, but through a series of subtle echoes, gentle nudges, intuitive whispers, and meaningful coincidences, often referred to as synchronicities. Learning to recognize and interpret these delicate echoes is a crucial skill in mastering the art of manifestation, for they serve multiple purposes. They act as confirmation that your resonant signal is being received clearly. They reassure you that you are indeed on the right path, and they often provide guidance for your next inspired, aligned step. These universal echoes can manifest in myriad forms, often tailored uniquely to your individual awareness and belief system. You might find yourself hearing a particular word or phrase repeated unexpectedly throughout your day by different people or through different media. You might stumble upon an article, a book, or a conversation that contains information perfectly relevant to the desire you are nurturing. You might experience a sudden, clear, intuitive pull, a feeling, not a thought, urging you to visit a specific place, contact a particular person you haven't thought of in years, or explore an unexpected opportunity. Small, fortunate coincidences might begin to occur more frequently, smoothing your path in unexpected ways, finding the perfect parking spot just when you need it, receiving an unexpected discount, or having a potential obstacle simply dissolve before you reach it. You might also notice recurring numbers, symbols, or even specific animals that hold personal significance for you, appearing repeatedly in your environment. The universe operates with an impeccable, often mysterious sense of divine timing. These subtle echoes are like navigational beacons lighting up along your path, assuring you that the complex machinery of manifestation is aligning behind the scenes, even if the final tangible result hasn't yet fully materialized in your physical reality. It's essential to pay close attention not just to the external events, but also to your internal responses, feelings of unexpected rightness, moments of spontaneous ease, a sense of doors opening effortlessly where previously there seemed to be walls. Dismissing these subtle signals as mere coincidence, random chance, or wishful thinking is akin to ignoring the first delicate notes of a beautiful symphony before the main theme emerges. Learning to listen attentively, with open curiosity and trust, to the quiet whispers of intuition and the gentle synchronicities of daily life allows you to engage in a graceful dance of co-creation with the universe, navigating the unfolding process with increasing confidence and ease. Finn, the sculptor who had discovered the power of flow over force, was now working with a newfound sense of collaboration with his materials. He had received a significant commission from the discerning curator who had recognized the spirit in his earlier work. While Finn felt generally aligned with the project, holding the feeling of its successful completion, he found himself uncertain about the specific type of stone that would best capture the commission's intended essence, a piece meant to evoke both strength and profound tranquility. He didn't revert to anxious searching or forcing a decision. Instead, he held the clear intention for the perfect material to reveal itself, maintaining his cultivated resonant state of trust and non-resistance, believing the answer would come in its own time. One crisp morning, while taking his usual meditative walk through the nearby woods, his attention was unexpectedly snagged by snippets of a conversation drifting over from two strangers resting on a nearby bench. They were reminiscing about local history, mentioning an old forgotten quarry located just a few miles away, a place renowned in generations past for its uniquely colored and textured marble, now largely reclaimed by nature. The specific phrase, "forgotten quarry," seemed to echo in Finn's mind, feeling strangely significant, like more than just random overheard chatter. Later that same day, seeking refuge from the afternoon heat in a dusty second-hand bookstore in the village, a heavy, leather-bound volume on local geology practically leaped off a high shelf, falling open at his feet. Brushing off the dust, his eyes fell upon a page detailing the unique mineral composition and aesthetic properties of marble sourced from that very same abandoned quarry mentioned earlier in the woods. These occurrences weren't loud, dramatic commands, but gentle, persistent echoes reinforcing a subtle theme. Finn felt a quiet but distinct knowing settle within him, an inner nudge rather than a logical deduction, urging him to visit this forgotten quarry. He consciously chose not to dismiss these synchronicities as mere coincidence or flights of fancy. Trusting the intuitive pull, he undertook the journey to the overgrown, neglected site the following day. After some searching amidst tangled vines and weathered stones, he uncovered a partially exposed vein of marble, its color a subtle blend of deep greens and soft grays, and its unique, almost luminous texture instantly resonated with the feeling he had been holding for the commission. It felt as if the stone itself had called out to him, an undeniable echo answering the specific resonance he had patiently cultivated within. Trusting these subtle, synchronistic signals, born directly from his aligned state, had led him effortlessly and directly to the perfect previously unknown resource, the process unfolding with a sense of quiet magic and undeniable divine timing. For the next 24 hours, embark on a gentle experiment in heightened awareness. Carry a small notebook and pen, or utilize a note-taking app on your phone with the specific intention of becoming more keenly aware of the subtle echoes, synchronicities, and intuitive nudges that occur in your daily life. This is not about actively hunting for signs or desperately searching for meaning in every little thing. Rather, it's about cultivating a state of relaxed, open observation, like a curious naturalist exploring a familiar landscape with fresh eyes. Throughout the day, simply notice without judgment. Did you hear the same unusual word or phrase mentioned multiple times by different sources? Did you see recurring numbers like 1111 on a clock, or specific sequences on license plates, or symbols that feel personally significant? Did you accidentally encounter someone or stumble upon information that felt surprisingly relevant to a question you've been pondering or a desire you're nurturing? Pay particular attention to any inner nudges, those quiet, spontaneous urges to call someone specific, visit a certain place, even if it seems illogical, read a particular article, or take an unexpected detour. Also note any small instances of unusual good fortune or ease, finding something you thought was lost, a task resolving itself effortlessly, receiving an unexpected compliment or gift. Your goal is to simply record at least 3 of these small instances that feel like gentle winks or subtle confirmations from the universe, however minor or seemingly insignificant they might appear at first glance. Don't worry about interpreting their deeper meaning immediately. The primary purpose of this exercise is to train your perceptive faculties, to sharpen your awareness of the universe's subtle feedback loop, thereby strengthening your conscious connection to the ongoing dialogue initiated by your resonance. Key: you are learning to recognize the echoes. You have now embarked on the sacred work, planting your intention like a precious seed in the fertile ground of sacred silence, beginning to consciously craft your resonance key in moments of quiet, stillness, and learning to recognize the subtle yet significant echoes the universe sends back in response. The next vital stage in this process involves actively protecting the delicate, burgeoning flame of your cultivated resonance. Just as a tiny seedling needs protection from harsh winds and trampling feet, your newly established inner frequency requires shielding from the pervasive noise and potential negativity of the external world, as well as from the lingering echoes of your own past conditioning. The outer world is a cacophony of competing energies, doubts expressed by well-meaning friends or family, societal messages promoting fear and scarcity, news cycles focused on crisis, and the sheer energetic static of collective anxiety. Furthermore, your own mind can generate internal interference in the form of ingrained limiting beliefs, replays of past failures, or sudden waves of fear or unworthiness. Just as a candle flame flickers and threatens to extinguish in a strong draft, your carefully cultivated inner resonance, the feeling of peace, abundance, or love you are nurturing, can be easily disturbed, diminished, or even snuffed out if left unguarded against these discordant energies. Shielding this sacred inner flame is therefore not an act of paranoia, but one of conscious, loving energy management and discernment. This shielding process does not necessitate isolating yourself from the world, building impenetrable walls, or becoming defensive and argumentative against differing viewpoints. Instead, it involves cultivating a wise discernment about where you consciously choose to place your attention and whose energy you intentionally allow into your inner sanctum. It means becoming more aware of thoughts rooted in doubt or fear as they arise within your own mind, perhaps recognizing them as old habitual patterns or absorbed negativity from external sources, and gently, consciously choosing not to engage with them or fuel them with further attention. Acknowledge their presence. There is that old fear again, without identifying with them or believing their story. Then, gently but firmly, redirect your focus back to your chosen feeling tone, the core resonance you are intentionally cultivating. Furthermore, shielding the flame involves making conscious choices about your external environment. This might mean limiting exposure to excessively negative or fear-mongering media, choosing to spend more time with supportive, uplifting people whose energy feels genuinely good, and seeking out environments like nature, quiet spaces, or places filled with beauty that naturally nourish and uplift your inner state. Imagine your core resonance as a precious, warm, steady glow residing deep within your heart space. Your ongoing task is to lovingly build a gentle, permeable shield of awareness around it. This shield isn't a hard, impermeable wall designed to keep everything out. Rather, it's like a selective membrane, allowing positivity, inspiration, and genuine connection to flow in freely, while allowing negativity, doubt, and fear to simply pass by without disturbing or extinguishing the precious light within. This conscious protection preserves the integrity and potency of your resonance key as it continues to gain strength, clarity, and magnetic power. Maya's courageous shift towards playing with authentic soul brought her the recognition and connection she had craved. Concert halls filled, audiences responded with heartfelt emotion, and opportunities flourished. However, this newfound success also inevitably attracted a different kind of attention, the sharp barbs of critics. Some, accustomed to purely technical displays, dismissed her deeply emotional style as undisciplined or overly sentimental. Others, perhaps harboring envy or misunderstanding her journey, questioned the validity of her sudden rise. Their discordant opinions, published in reviews or whispered in musical circles, felt like sharp, cold drafts threatening to extinguish the very flame of authenticity she had fought so hard to ignite and protect. Old insecurities, ghosts from her past, began to surface, whispering insidious doubts in her ear during practice sessions. Maybe they're right. Maybe it's not real skill. Maybe you're just fooling everyone, including yourself. She felt the dangerous temptation to retreat back into the safety of technical perfection, or worse, to simply stop playing altogether. One evening, before a particularly important concert, feeling overwhelmed by a recent scathing review and the resurgence of her own self-doubt, she almost cancelled. Then, she vividly recalled the feeling of playing alone in the secluded woodland cabin, shielded by the silent ancient trees where her true music had been reborn. My authentic music was born in a sacred, protected space, she realized with sudden clarity. If it is to survive and thrive out here in the world, I must learn to carry that sacred, protective space within me, even when I stand on the world's biggest stages. From that moment on, she made a conscious, deliberate choice to shield her inner flame. Before performances, she established a new ritual. She would no longer pore over reviews or engage in backstage gossip. Instead, she would spend quiet time alone, perhaps walking in nature if possible, or simply meditating backstage, actively reconnecting with the core feeling of the music she intended to share, reaffirming her commitment to vulnerability and authenticity. When critical thoughts or self-doubts arose during a performance, she learned not to fight them or let them derail her. She acknowledged them mentally. There is that fear, treating them like passing clouds in the sky of her awareness, and then gently but firmly returned her focus to the emotion flowing through her violin and out to the audience. She developed a keener discernment, learning to differentiate genuinely constructive feedback offered with respect from mere negativity or projection. She consciously chose to spend her offstage time with fellow musicians and friends who valued authenticity and offered genuine support. Slowly but surely, she built an invisible yet palpable inner shield, not a shield of arrogance or defensiveness, but one forged from quiet self-assurance, unwavering commitment to her own resonant truth, and conscious energy management. The external noise of critics and doubters gradually faded in importance, losing its power to wound or destabilize her. Her audiences, sensing this unwavering, authentic core, grew even more devoted, drawn magnetically to the pure, fiercely protected flame of her music, which now burned brighter and steadier than ever before. Dedicate a few undisturbed minutes to this practice. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and take several slow, deep breaths to relax your body and quiet your mind. Now, begin to create in your imagination a beautiful, absolutely safe, and profoundly peaceful place that represents your personal inner sanctuary. This space is uniquely yours, designed by you for your own comfort and protection. It could be a serene, sun-dappled garden filled with fragrant flowers and the sound of trickling water, a cozy, firelit room with plush armchairs and shelves, filled with beloved books, a tranquil, pristine beach with gentle waves lapping at the shore, a crystal cave shimmering with soft light. Whatever imagery evokes the strongest feelings of peace, safety, nurturing, and protection for you. Take some time to flesh out the details of your sanctuary. Notice the colors, the textures, the sounds, the scents. Feel the atmosphere of complete peace and unconditional acceptance that permeates this sacred space. Now, visualize yourself within this sanctuary, feeling completely safe, relaxed, and at ease. In the very center of this sanctuary, imagine your core resonance, that primary feeling tone associated with your fulfilled desire, peace, joy, abundance, love, etc., taking form. See it perhaps as a warm, steady, unwavering flame, like a pilot light that never goes out. Or perhaps it appears as a soft, gently pulsating sphere of beautiful colored light. Or maybe it's a feeling, a palpable energy of well-being radiating. From the center, spend a moment simply appreciating the beauty, warmth, and steadfastness of this resonant flame or light within your safe space. Know that this inner sanctuary and the precious flame it contains is always accessible to you, no matter what is happening in the external world. It is your internal refuge, your energetic fortress. Now make a conscious intention, whenever you encounter external negativity, jarring news, judgmental comments, or feel internal doubt or fear rising within you throughout your day, practice taking just one conscious deep breath and mentally stepping back into this inner sanctuary for a brief moment. Reconnect instantly with the feeling of profound peace and safety here. See or feel your resonant flame burning steadily. Allow the outer noise and disturbance to fade in significance as you reaffirm your connection to your inner truth and chosen frequency. This sanctuary is your eternally available tool for shielding your sacred flame and instantly resetting your vibration. Even as you diligently practice planting your intentions in silence, consciously crafting your resonance key in stillness, learning to recognize the universe's subtle echoes, and actively shielding your sacred inner flame, you will inevitably encounter internal resistance. Think of this resistance as energetic rust that has accumulated over years or perhaps lifetimes of absorbing limiting beliefs, experiencing past disappointments, internalizing societal conditioning, and carrying unresolved emotional patterns. This accumulated rust can tarnish the bright surface and impede the clear signal of your newly forged resonance key, dampening its potency and hindering its ability to attract your desired reality. Common forms of this rust include deeply ingrained beliefs like, "I'm not worthy of abundance," "Good things never last for me," "It's too hard to make money," "I'm always unlucky in love," or pervasive fears of failure, judgment, or even success itself. Trying to attack this rust directly, attempting to scrape it off forcefully through willpower, self-criticism, or intense mental struggle, often proves counterproductive. It's like fighting shadows in the dark. The more energy you expend battling, The resistance, the stronger and more solid it can seem to become, aggressively confronting a limiting belief often just reinforces its neural pathways in your brain. A far more effective and harmonious approach, fully aligned with the principle of non-resistance we explored earlier, involves gently dissolving this rust rather than battling it. This begins with acknowledging the presence of the limiting belief, or fear when it arises, without judgment or self-condemnation. See it clearly for what it is, an old, energetic pattern, a conditioned thought form, perhaps a protective mechanism that is no longer serving you. Observe it with detached curiosity, like watching clouds drift across the vast sky of your awareness. Recognize it, name it. There's the not-worthy belief again. But consciously choose not to give it your power by identifying with it or believing its narrative. Then the crucial step, gently, lovingly, but persistently, redirect your focus back to your chosen resonance. Bring your attention back to the feeling of your desire already fulfilled, the frequency you are intentionally cultivating. Peace, joy, abundance, love. You don't need to engage in lengthy debates with the old belief, or painstakingly dismantle its logic brick by metaphorical brick. Instead, you simply choose to build a stronger, more vibrant, more compelling resonant reality alongside it through your consistent, focused attention on the desired state. Imagine your chosen resonance as bright, warm sunlight. Like sunlight naturally dissolving morning mist without any struggle, your consistent, gentle focus on your desired frequency gradually weakens and dissolves the energetic charge of the old resistance patterns. It's a process of allowing the inherent light and power of your true chosen resonance to gently melt away the shadows, clearing the surface of your key so its signal can shine brightly and unimpeded into the universe. Liam's hidden garden, the one born from his experiment with sacred silence and trust, flourished beautifully for several seasons, becoming a source of quiet joy and sustenance. But then, a harsh, unrelenting drought settled upon the land. The sun beat down mercilessly day after day, the earth cracked, and the nearby stream dwindled to a mere trickle. Fear, palpable and contagious, gripped the village. Neighbors engaged in frantic activities, digging deeper wells that often yielded nothing, performing desperate ancient rituals, imploring the skies for rain, hoarding precious water reserves. Liam too felt the familiar cold pang of anxiety tighten in his chest as he watched his own plants begin to wilt under the oppressive heat. Doubts, like stubborn, drought-resistant weeds, sprouted aggressively in his mind. Maybe the old hermit was wrong after all. Maybe that first success was just a fluke, beginner's luck. This garden will surely perish now, just like all the others eventually do. The accumulated rust of past failures and the pervasive fear of scarcity threatened to corrode the foundation of his newfound trust. He felt the powerful urge to revert to old patterns, to overwater frantically with his limited supply, to constantly interfere, to worry obsessively, all actions driven by the corrosive energy of fear. But then, something shifted within him. He consciously recalled the profound feeling of quiet, unwavering trust he had experienced when he first planted that single, special seed in sacred silence. He observed the frantic, fearful energy consuming his neighbors and recognized it clearly as the old way, the path of struggle, resistance, and ultimately, often, disappointment. He made a different, more courageous choice. He acknowledged the fear rising within him, allowing himself to feel it fully, saying internally, "Yes, I feel afraid right now." But he refused to let that fear dictate his actions or dominate his inner state. He continued his simple, established routine, providing gentle watering only when the plants truly needed it, calmly tending the soil to conserve moisture, removing weeds with mindful attention. Mostly, however, he dedicated time each day to consciously practice returning to the inner feeling of profound trust. Trust in the inherent life force within the plants, trust in the resilience of nature's cycles, trust in the unseen source of all abundance. He focused his inner gaze, his resonance key, on the feeling of a thriving, vibrant garden, even as the surrounding land grew increasingly parched and desperate. Miraculously, something extraordinary happened. While other gardens in the village withered and succumbed to the harsh conditions, Liam's small plot remained strangely resilient. It didn't flourish with the same extravagant abundance as in wetter years, certainly, but it survived. The plants held their ground, sustained, it seemed, by an unseen energy, by the unwavering resonant field of trust that Liam so diligently maintained within himself. This trust seemed to dissolve the worst, most debilitating effects of the external hardship. He learned a deeper lesson. Dissolving resistance wasn't about magically fighting the external condition, the drought, but about refusing to allow the internal condition, fear, doubt, scarcity, to tarnish the clarity and power of his inner resonance. Key: take a moment to identify one specific limiting belief or recurring fear that you recognize as a form of energetic resistance to your desired manifestation. Choose one that feels particularly active for you right now. Examples: making money requires hard struggle. I'm just not good enough to achieve that. All the good partners are already taken. I'm too old, young, inexperienced. Write this belief down simply and clearly on a piece of paper or in your journal. Now find a comfortable seated position, close your eyes, and take several slow, deep breaths to center yourself. Gently bring the limiting belief you identified into your conscious awareness. Do so without judgment or resistance. Simply observe it. Notice how this belief feels in your body. Does it create a tightness in your chest, a knot in your stomach, a tension in your shoulders? Acknowledge these physical sensations as the energetic signature of the belief. Now, take a slow, deep inhalation through your nose. As you breathe in, imagine you are drawing in pure, radiant, golden white light, the light of acceptance, truth, and infinite potential. Feel this light filling your lungs and expanding throughout your body. Then, as you exhale slowly and completely through your mouth, visualize the energy of that specific limiting belief gently dissolving and releasing from your system. See it perhaps as grey smoke drifting away effortlessly on the wind, or as morning mist evaporating harmlessly in the warm sunlight of your awareness. Repeat this cycle of breathing in light and breathing out the dissolving belief for several breaths, perhaps 5 to 10 times. Don't force the dissolution. Simply allow the gentle power of your breath and the focused intention of light to loosen the belief's energetic grip. To complete the practice, shift your focus entirely. Take several more deep breaths, and with each inhalation, consciously breathe in the feeling tone of your desired state, the feeling of freedom, abundance, love, worthiness, or whatever your chosen resonance is. Feel this positive frequency filling the space previously occupied by the old resistance. Use this simple yet powerful breath practice whenever you notice the rust of old limiting beliefs trying to tarnish your resonance key. Our journey now reaches its apex, the transition point from understanding and activating to fully mastering. The resonance key. This pinnacle stage represents a profound shift in identity, moving from the energy of seeking, wanting, or needing something external to the powerful stance of already being the person who embodies that reality. Mastery of the resonance key isn't ultimately about perfecting specific techniques or endlessly refining your focus. It culminates in effortlessly embodying the vibrational frequency of your fulfilled desire as your natural, default state of being. It's about living, breathing, thinking, feeling, and acting from the inherent assumption, the quiet inner knowing, that what you seek is already yours in the energetic realm, simply awaiting the appropriate divine timing for its full physical manifestation. This is the transformative power of deeply aligned belief, moving beyond mere hope or wishing into the calm, confident, unwavering knowing that resides in the core of your being. This crucial step is not about superficial pretending or engaging in faking it till you make it in a way that feels inauthentic or forced. That approach often carries an underlying vibration of lack. Instead, embodying the frequency of having is a deep internal realignment, a conscious recalibration of your entire energetic signature. Ask yourself, how would the version of me who already enjoys effortless financial abundance think throughout the day? What would their dominant feelings be upon waking? How would they approach decisions regarding money or resources from a place of fear and scarcity, or from trust and generosity? Similarly, how would the version of me who is already embraced in a deeply fulfilling, loving partnership carry themselves? How would they interact with others? What quality of self-love and self-respect would they naturally exude? Embodying this desired frequency means beginning to make choices, even seemingly small ones, in your daily life, from that envisioned state of being. It's about consciously closing the vibrational gap between your current perceived reality and your desired reality by choosing thoughts, feelings, and actions consistent with the fulfilled state now. This might translate into simple yet powerful shifts, perhaps choosing to dress in a way that makes you feel abundant and successful to you, regardless of your current bank balance, treating yourself with the same kindness, respect, and care that you would expect to receive in a truly loving partnership, or dedicating focused, joyful time to your creative passion project with the mindset and dedication of an already recognized and successful artist. Each time you consciously choose to think, feel, or act as if your desire is already fulfilled, you reinforce that neural pathway, strengthen that vibrational frequency, and align your personal energy field more completely with the signal you wish the universe to receive and mirror back to you. You cease waiting for the external reality to change before you feel good. You choose to feel good now, thereby inviting the external reality to match your inner state. Ilara's magnificent tapestry, born from stillness and flow, brought her considerable renown and financial security. Orders flowed in consistently, and she was no longer plagued by the immediate worries of survival. Yet she noticed a subtle undercurrent of anxiety occasionally surfaced, a lingering fear that this newfound success might be temporary, that it could all somehow disappear as quickly as it had arrived. She realized, with insightful clarity, that although her external circumstances had changed dramatically, a part of her was still operating from the memory of lack, from the ingrained identity of the struggling weaver she once was. She hadn't fully, deeply embodied her new reality. She hadn't truly become the master weaver in her own being. Determined to close this final gap, she decided to consciously shift her inner identity. Her embodiment began with her physical environment. Using a portion of her substantial earnings, she didn't just purchase basic necessities, she invested in threads of the absolute highest quality, luminous silks and fine wools, using them even for her practice pieces, signaling to herself her commitment to excellence and abundance. She reorganized her workspace, transforming it from merely functional to a place of beauty, order, and inspiration, surrounding herself with objects that felt uplifting and reflected her success. She also began to pay attention to how she presented herself each morning, choosing clothing that made her feel like the respected, successful artisan she now undeniably was, rather than dressing from the habit of her former, more constrained identity. More profoundly, however, she worked on transforming her inner dialogue and her decision-making process. When old worries about finances or future commissions arose, she consciously paused and asked herself, how would the successful, secure master weaver Ilara perceive and handle this situation? This simple question often shifted her perspective. Instantly, allowing her to respond from a place of calm assurance and trust rather than reactive fear. She started setting her prices and negotiating contracts not from a place of apology or perceived need, but from a clear understanding of the value of her unique artistry and time. Furthermore, she began generously sharing her knowledge and mentoring younger weavers in the village, naturally embodying the spirit of abundance and flow she now experienced, circulating the energy rather than hoarding it. This deliberate, multifaceted inner shift radiated outwards, creating a palpable change in her energy field. Patrons sensed her quiet confidence and unwavering commitment to quality. New, even more exciting opportunities seemed to seek her out, arriving unexpectedly. She was no longer just a weaver who happened to achieve success. She had fully become the embodiment of prosperous, creative, flowing artistry. Her life settled into a consistent, sustainable state of abundance and fulfillment because her dominant resonance, the very core of her being, was now perfectly and consistently aligned with that reality. She had become the key. Identify one small concrete action you can take today or within the next 24 hours that aligns with the feeling and behavior of your desire already being fully realized. This action should feel authentically uplifting and slightly expansive, pushing your comfort zone gently, but it should not feel stressful, financially reckless, or completely out of integrity with your current situation. The key is the feeling it evokes and the identity it allows you to step into temporarily. Here are some examples to spark your imagination. If seeking greater financial ease and freedom, spend 15 minutes consciously browsing websites for your dream home, car, or vacation destination. Allow yourself to fully immerse in the experience, feeling the joy, excitement, and possibility as if you were genuinely planning and preparing for this purchase or trip. Don't focus on the current lack of funds. Focus entirely on the feeling of having the freedom to choose. If seeking a loving partnership, treat yourself to a simple yet meaningful act of kindness, care, or appreciation that you would deeply value receiving from a loving partner. This could be buying yourself a beautiful bouquet of flowers, preparing a nourishing meal just for yourself and savoring it mindfully, taking yourself on a pleasant solo date to a museum or park, or simply speaking words of loving affirmation to yourself in the mirror. If seeking creative success or recognition, dedicate a focused block of time, perhaps 30 to 60 minutes, to working on your creative passion project. During this time, adopt the mindset, focus, and dedication of a professional artist, writer, or creator whose work is highly valued and sought after. Immerse yourself in the joy of the creative process itself, acting as if this is your important, recognized work. The specific action matters less than the internal state you consciously cultivate while performing it. Fully step into the energy, the mindset, the feelings of the person who is already living the reality you desire just for this designated period. Notice how it feels in your body. Make this a regular practice, choosing different small as-if actions each day or week that resonate with and reinforce your desired state of being. This gradually rewires your subconscious and realigns your energy field. As you increasingly embody the frequency of already having your desire as your resonance key becomes your dominant state, your relationship with action undergoes a fundamental transformation. Action doesn't disappear from the equation of manifestation, but its quality, source, and feeling change dramatically. It shifts from the heavy, often draining, anxious push associated with needing to make things happen through sheer force of will to the light, effortless, and often surprisingly effective current of inspired action. Inspired action arises spontaneously, often unexpectedly, directly from your aligned state of being. It doesn't typically originate from logical deduction, strategic planning, or worried deliberation. Instead, it often feels like a gentle nudge from within, a sudden intuitive hit, a creative idea that seems to drop into your mind out of nowhere during a moment of relaxation or quiet contemplation. Acting on inspiration usually feels light, energizing, almost obvious in retrospect, even if it seemed illogical or small at the time. It often requires less perceived effort, but yields disproportionately greater results because it is perfectly timed and aligned with the harmonious flow of the universe, tapping into synchronicities and unseen currents. It feels like riding a wave rather than battling the ocean. Examples might include the sudden urge to call a specific person you haven't spoken to in ages, the clear impulse to visit a particular shop or attend a certain event, the simple idea for a solution to a problem that appears during a walk in nature, or the pull towards reading a specific book or article that contains exactly the information you need. Anxious pushing, in stark contrast, feels entirely different. It typically originates from fear, doubt, impatience, or a sense of lack. It carries an energy of heaviness, obligation, and often depletion. It's the feeling that you have to make countless cold calls because you fear scarcity, that you must work exhausting hours out of a sense of obligation or unworthiness, that you need to constantly check your phone or email for results because you don't trust the process. Anxious pushing often involves struggling against resistance, forcing things that don't feel right, and ultimately leaves you feeling drained and frustrated, often with minimal results to show for the immense effort expended. Learning to keenly discern the difference between these two types of action is a hallmark of mastering the resonance key. Before embarking on any significant action related to your desire, cultivate the habit of pausing and checking in with your inner guidance. System your body and your intuition. Ask yourself, does the thought of taking this specific action feel expansive, creating a sense of opening, possibility, lightness, or contracted, creating tightness, dread, resistance? Does it feel light or heavy? Does it feel energizing, even if slightly exciting or nerve-wracking or draining? Pay close attention to the very first subtle sensation or feeling that arises before your logical mind jumps in with justifications or rationalizations. If the overall feeling is one of expansion, lightness, flow, or quiet excitement, it's likely an inspired action. Proceed with trust, even if it doesn't make complete logical sense. If, however, the feeling is one of contraction, heaviness, obligation, or significant dread, it's likely anxious pushing. In this case, pause. Re-center yourself in your desired resonance, using your anchor or sanctuary. Ask for greater clarity. Perhaps the timing isn't quite right. Perhaps there's an easier, more aligned action waiting to be revealed. Or perhaps no external action is needed at all in that moment, only continued focus on your inner state. Trusting and acting upon the gentle nudges of inspired flow allows the universe to become your active co-creator, guiding you effortlessly along the path of least resistance toward the beautiful manifestation of your desires. Vin, the sculptor whose work had gained recognition after he embraced flow over force, found himself facing a new challenge: managing success. Commissions poured in, deadlines loomed, and he felt an increasing pressure to constantly be doing, to be hammering away in his studio, proving his worth through sheer output. He started feeling the old familiar sense of drain creeping back in, the sensation of pushing against reluctant stone, even though the commissions themselves were desirable. His work, while still technically proficient, began to lose some of that unique, intangible spark, that spirit-infused quality that had first captivated the curator and his patrons. One morning, feeling particularly stuck and frustrated with a challenging piece of marble that seemed to resist his every effort, he felt the strong temptation to just push through, to work longer hours, to force a solution. But then, he consciously remembered the profound lessons learned by the stream and at the forgotten quarry, the power of yielding, listening, and following subtle guidance. He made a different choice. Resisting the ingrained urge to force progress, he deliberately put down his tools. He stepped out of his studio, not with a specific plan or destination, but simply holding the clear intention for clarity and ease. Regarding the difficult sculpture, he decided to take a walk, allowing himself to simply wander, trusting that an insight might arise in the space of non-doing. As he walked aimlessly through the familiar village streets, letting his mind quieten, he felt a sudden, distinct, and somewhat illogical urge to turn down a narrow side street he rarely frequented. There was no conscious reason for it, but the feeling itself was clear, light, and insistent. It felt like inspiration, not obligation. He followed the nudge. Halfway down the lane, his eyes were drawn to the dusty window of an old, slightly dilapidated antique shop he hadn't paid much attention to before. Again, feeling that gentle inner pull, he went inside. Amidst the clutter of forgotten treasures, his gaze fell upon a small wooden box containing a set of strangely shaped antique sculpting tools, unlike any he had ever seen or used. They looked ancient, perhaps handmade centuries ago. Curious, he picked them up. They felt surprisingly well balanced in his hand, almost as if they held a latent energy, a memory of skilled hands. On pure impulse, guided by that feeling rather than logic, he purchased the set for a modest sum. Back in his studio, still feeling that sense of quiet guidance, he picked up one of the antique chisels and approached the challenging block of marble. Letting go of his preconceived ideas and frustrations, he allowed his hand, holding the old tool, to move intuitively across the stone's surface. It felt different. The tool seemed to know exactly where to cut, how much pressure to apply, revealing hidden planes and textures within the marble that his modern equipment, wielded with force, had failed to uncover. The block that had stubbornly resisted his anxious pushing just hours before now seemed to yield effortlessly, almost eagerly, to this inspired action, guided by an antique tool found by following a quiet, seemingly illogical nudge. The resulting sculpture was widely acclaimed as one of his most innovative and spiritually resonant pieces, a testament to the power of trusting inspired flow over anxious force. Cultivate the habit of performing this simple check before you commit significant time or energy to any action aimed at furthering your desires. The next time you feel compelled or obligated to take a particular step, whether it's making a phone call, sending an email, starting a project, attending a meeting, or making a purchase, pause for just a moment before you dive in. Close your eyes briefly, take one or two slow, centering breaths, and bring the intended action clearly into your mind. Now, shift your awareness inward, specifically tuning into the sensations within your physical body. Gently ask yourself these questions, paying attention to the very first subtle feeling or physical response that arises before your analytical mind has a chance to override it. Does the thought of doing this specific action feel expansive, like opening, possibility, lightness, or contracted, like tightening, dread, resistance, within my body? Does it feel generally light or heavy? Does imagining myself doing this feel energizing, perhaps bringing a sense of quiet excitement, flow, or rightness, even if it also feels a bit stretching or draining, bringing feelings of obligation, depletion, or struggle? Trust the initial wisdom of your body's response. If the overall sensation is one of expansion, lightness, flow, or a sense of yes, then proceed with confidence and trust, knowing you are likely acting on inspired guidance. If, however, the primary feeling is one of contraction, heaviness, resistance, obligation, or significant dread, consider this a valuable signal. Pause. Don't force yourself to proceed immediately out of guilt or habit. Take a moment to recenter yourself in your desired resonant frequency, perhaps using your inner sanctuary or resonance anchor. Ask inwardly for clarity or guidance. Is there a different way? Is the timing not quite right? Is there something else I need to do or be first? Sometimes the most powerful action is non-action, simply holding the space and resonance until true inspiration dawns. Practice this check regularly to refine your sensitivity to your own inner guidance system, learning to navigate your path by the reliable compass of inspired flow rather than the exhausting map of anxious push. As we delve deeper into the mastery of the resonance key, it becomes absolutely vital to consciously broaden and enrich our understanding of what prosperity truly encompasses. Our culture often narrowly equates prosperity almost exclusively with financial wealth, accumulating money, assets, and material possessions. While financial well-being is certainly a valid and important aspect of a prosperous life, focusing only on this single stream can inadvertently constrict the overall flow of abundance into our experience. Imagine a mighty, life-giving river, diverting into multiple streams to nourish a vast landscape. Focusing solely on one stream while neglecting or damming the others limits the fertility and richness of the entire ecosystem. True, holistic prosperity flows through many interconnected channels. It manifests as vibrant physical health and boundless energy, allowing us to fully engage with life. It appears as deep, loving, supportive relationships with partners, family, friends, and community that nourish our hearts and souls. It expresses itself as the joyful flow of creative expression, whether through art, music, writing, problem-solving, or simply bringing beauty and innovation into our daily tasks. It resides in the profound stillness of peace of mind, freedom from chronic worry and anxiety. It bubbles up as spontaneous joy, genuine laughter, and a sense of delight in the simple pleasures of existence. It translates into the freedom to make choices aligned with our values, the freedom to learn and grow, and the freedom of time to pursue what truly matters to us. It often reveals itself through a deep sense of purpose, feeling that our life has meaning and contributes positively to the world. When you learn to tune your resonance key, not just to the specific frequency of money, but to the broader, more fundamental frequencies of core states like joy, peace, freedom, love, health, and connection, you throw open the energetic floodgates to receive abundance in all its wondrous forms. Sometimes the universe, in its infinite wisdom and efficiency, delivers prosperity initially through a channel other than direct finance. Perhaps you experience a significant improvement in your health, which then gives you the energy and clarity to pursue a more lucrative career. Perhaps a supportive new friendship provides the encouragement or connection needed to launch a successful venture. Perhaps a burst of creative inspiration leads to an innovation that brings unexpected rewards. Or perhaps finding deep inner peace alleviates the compulsive need for external validation through material wealth. Recognizing, acknowledging, and genuinely celebrating abundance as it appears in these diverse forms is crucial. Actively practicing gratitude for the health you currently enjoy, however imperfect, the love present in your life, in whatever form, the beauty of the natural world surrounding you, the moments of peace you experience. This practice powerfully amplifies your overall resonance of receiving. It tunes your entire being to a frequency of richness, demonstrating to the universe that you are open and appreciative of its gifts in all their manifestations. This amplified state of gratitude then naturally attracts more richness across the board, often including the financial stream as well. Begin to see prosperity not as a single, narrow destination defined solely by a bank balance, but as the lush, vibrant, multifaceted landscape of a truly well-lived life, nourished continuously by countless flowing streams, all ultimately sourced from the clear, harmonious spring of your aligned inner state. Maya, the violinist whose soulful playing had touched hearts and brought her significant professional success, found herself at a curious juncture. Concert halls were consistently full. Critics now lauded her unique emotional depth, and her earnings were more than comfortable. By conventional standards, she was undeniably prosperous. Yet amidst the accolades and the comfortable lifestyle, she occasionally felt a subtle, persistent sense of emptiness, a dissonant note in the overall composition of her life. She realized upon reflection that she had focused her powerful resonance key so intensely and almost exclusively on achieving musical success and recognition that other vital areas of her life had become somewhat neglected, like untended sections of a potentially beautiful garden. Her physical health was often strained by the demanding pace of international touring. Deep and nurturing friendships were scarce due to her nomadic lifestyle, and moments of simple, unadulterated joy felt increasingly rare amidst the pressures of her career. One evening, standing backstage after a particularly triumphant concert, enveloped by thunderous applause, she felt not the expected elation, but a profound wave of exhaustion and a surprising sense of disconnection. Looking out at the sea of anonymous faces, a poignant realization dawned. She had successfully manifested one powerful stream of prosperity, but in her laser-like focus, she hadn't fully allowed the other vital streams to nourish her life. True harmony, she thought with sudden clarity, isn't just found in the perfectly executed notes of a single instrument. It resonates in the rich, complex, balanced interplay of the entire symphony of life. Inspired by this insight, Maya began to consciously adjust the tuning of her resonance key. While still holding and cherishing the frequency of authentic musical expression, she started intentionally cultivating the feeling tones associated with other aspects of holistic prosperity. She dedicated time each day to practices that nurtured vibrant health, mindful movement, nourishing food, prioritizing rest, even amidst her busy schedule. She made a conscious effort to cultivate deeper connections, reaching out to old friends, being more present with her family, and making space for new relationships based on shared values rather than professional convenience. She started incorporating moments of simple, quiet joy into her days, savoring a cup of tea mindfully, taking walks in nature without her phone, consciously noticing moments of beauty. She actively practiced gratitude not just for her successful career, but for the myriad small blessings, a delicious meal, a heartfelt conversation, a moment of unexpected peace amidst the chaos. Interestingly, this broadening of her resonant focus didn't diminish her musical success. If anything, her playing deepened further, imbued now with a richer, more grounded, more human quality that resonated even more powerfully with her audiences. And simultaneously, the other streams began to flow more freely into her life. She formed a deep, supportive friendship with a kindred spirit she met serendipitously. Her physical health and energy levels noticeably improved. She rediscovered a profound joy in simple pleasures she had long overlooked. Her financial success remained stable, but her overall experience of life transformed from one of driven, sometimes isolating achievement into one of rich, fulfilling, multidimensional harmony. She learned that by allowing and appreciating prosperity in all its diverse streams, the entire landscape of her life became infinitely more lush and truly abundant. Take a few quiet minutes with your journal or a sheet of paper. In the center, draw a large circle and label it Me, or your name. Now, around this central circle, draw several smaller circles, perhaps 5 to 7 of them, connecting each one to the center with a line, representing streams flowing into and out from your central being. Label each of these outer circles with a different aspect or form of prosperity that extends beyond just financial wealth. Choose labels that resonate with you, such as health and vitality, loving relationships, partner, family, friends, peace of mind and emotional well-being, joy and playfulness, creative expression and learning, connection with nature, time, freedom and ease, community and contribution, spiritual connection. Now dedicate a few moments to each labeled stream. For every circle, write down at least one specific thing present in your life right now, for which you feel genuinely grateful in that particular area, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant it might appear. Be specific. Examples: under health and vitality, you might write, grateful for my strong legs that allow me to walk easily, or grateful for restful sleep last night. Under loving relationships, grateful for my friend Sarah's supportive text message today, or grateful for my pet's unconditional affection. Under peace of mind, grateful for the 5 minutes of quiet I had this morning, or grateful for my ability to take deep breaths. Under nature, grateful for the sunshine warming my face, or grateful for the beautiful tree outside my window. As you write down each item, pause briefly and allow yourself to truly feel the genuine emotion of gratitude associated with it. Let the feeling wash over you. This practice accomplishes two vital things. It consciously trains your mind to recognize the abundance already present in your life across multiple domains, and it actively tunes your resonance key to the broader frequency of holistic prosperity, acknowledging and inviting even greater flow through all these vital streams. Make this a regular practice to cultivate a pervasive sense of richness. You have diligently journeyed through the stages of awakening, deepening, and beginning to embody the principles of the resonance key. You've learned to craft your key in stillness, recognize the universe's echoes, shield your inner flame, dissolve resistance, act from inspired flow, and appreciate prosperity's many diverse forms. The final, ongoing stage of true mastery lies in learning to sustain this cultivated alignment, this chosen resonant frequency, amidst the inevitable noise, distractions, challenges, and fluctuations of everyday life. Life will continue to present unexpected events, demanding situations, and interactions with people operating from different energy levels. Old doubts or fears may occasionally resurface, triggered by external circumstances. The outer world, with its constant barrage of information and demands, will persistently vie for your attention and attempt to pull you off center. Maintaining your resonance is therefore not about achieving some static, permanent state of unwavering bliss or perfect vibrational purity. That's an unrealistic expectation for human existence. Rather, mastery lies in developing energetic resilience, self-awareness, and the crucial ability to quickly and gracefully return to your chosen center, your desired frequency, whenever you notice you've been momentarily thrown off balance. This requires ongoing conscious practice and heightened self-awareness. It means developing the capacity to recognize relatively quickly when you've slipped back into old, habitual patterns of worry, reaction, judgment, or scarcity thinking. It involves having readily accessible, simple tools at your disposal, perhaps a specific, conscious breathing pattern you've practiced, a centering mantra or affirmation that resonates deeply, your vividly imagined inner sanctuary, or your personalized resonance anchor gesture that allow you to swiftly recalibrate your energy field in the moment. Think of yourself not as needing to build an impenetrable fortress, but as a skilled sailor who doesn't control the wind or the waves, but constantly, deftly adjusts the sails to navigate effectively, harnessing the elements rather than being overwhelmed by them. Sustaining resonance also means making a conscious, ongoing commitment to prioritizing practices that consistently nourish your inner state and reinforce your desired frequency. This will look different for everyone, but it typically involves incorporating regular activities into your life that bring you back to center, whether that's daily meditation or mindfulness practice, spending quality time in nature, engaging in joyful creative expression, mindful movement like yoga or Tai Chi, listening to uplifting music or reading inspirational material. It's about consciously choosing to be the deliberate tuner of your own inner instrument, not just once in a while, but as a gentle, consistent practice woven into the fabric of your daily life. This steadfast, loving, moment-by-moment tending ensures that your resonance key remains clear, potent, effective, and continuously capable of attracting the beautiful reality you consciously choose to experience, navigate challenges with greater ease, and live from a place of authentic power and grace. Years flowed by, and Liam's garden, once his private experiment, became quietly known throughout the surrounding region. Travelers sometimes detoured slightly just to glimpse its unusual, sustained vitality, which seemed strangely resilient even during seasons that proved challenging for other cultivators. While neighboring gardens often experienced dramatic cycles of boom and bust, years of extraordinary bumper crops, followed by seasons devastated by blight, pests, or unpredictable weather, Liam's plot maintained a quieter, more consistent, dependable abundance. Visitors often attributed it to some secret fertilizer or mystical soil amendment he possessed. But Liam knew the true secret wasn't in the external inputs. It was rooted firmly in his sustained internal practice. He had mastered the art of energetic resilience in relation to his garden. When faced with an infestation of pests, he didn't immediately resort to panic or harsh chemical warfare. He calmly observed the situation, researched natural, holistic deterrents, and most importantly, held the unwavering inner resonance, the clear feeling of a healthy, balanced, thriving garden ecosystem, trusting that a solution would emerge. Within that frequency, when neighbors gathered, gossiping fearfully about an approaching storm system or predicting another season of drought, Liam acknowledged their concerns with empathy, but consciously chose not to absorb their fearful energy. He would politely excuse himself or inwardly return his focus to the feeling of gratitude for the sturdiness of his plants and his deep trust in the inherent resilience and wisdom of nature's cycles. He had integrated small, consistent rituals into his daily routine that constantly reinforced his desired resonance. He started each morning, before the day's demands began, by spending just a few quiet moments walking through his garden, consciously connecting with its peaceful frequency, feeling gratitude for its existence. He developed a habit of touching a specific, smooth grey stone embedded near the garden gate, his personal resonance anchor, which instantly recalled the core feeling of trust and allowing he had cultivated years before. Whenever he felt a wave of anxiety or worry rising within him during the day, whether related to the garden or other life matters, he practiced taking 3 slow, deep breaths, instantly bringing him back to his center. His garden wasn't magically immune to all challenges. Of course, a sudden, unexpected late frost might occasionally nip the edges of some tender leaves, or burrowing animals might cause minor, localized damage. But because Liam's dominant, sustained inner resonance remained one of trust, balance, allowing, and quiet confidence, the garden itself seemed to possess an extraordinary capacity for rapid recovery. Solutions often appeared synchronistically. A helpful tip from a visitor, a natural predator arriving to control pests, an unexpected rain shower. The garden consistently found its equilibrium because the gardener himself was masterful at maintaining his own. Liam had learned not just the initial skill of planting seeds with intention, but the far more profound art of continuously, diligently tending the resonant field in which they grew, allowing resilience and abundance to become the garden's natural state. This practice involves creating a simple, personalized and discreet anchor, a physical gesture, a silent word, or a quick mental image that you can use anytime, anywhere, to instantly reconnect you with your desired resonant state, helping you quickly recalibrate when you feel off-center. First, choose your anchor. It should be something easy to do unobtrusively. Examples include physical gesture, gently touching the tip of your thumb to the tip of your forefinger, briefly placing your hand over your heart center, lightly tapping a specific spot on your wrist or collarbone. Silent word, mantra, silently. Repeating a single powerful word that encapsulates your desired state, e.g., peace, flow, trust, love, abundance, ease. Mental image, briefly visualizing a specific image that represents peace and alignment for you, e.g., you're in a sanctuary, a calm lake, a beautiful flower, a warm light. Choose one anchor that feels natural and resonant for you. Now, you need to consciously link this anchor to your desired feeling. The next time you are actively experiencing your chosen positive resonance, perhaps during or immediately after meditation, a gratitude practice, spending time in nature, or simply feeling a moment of deep peace or joy, intentionally perform your chosen anchor, the gesture, word, or image, several times while fully immersed in that positive feeling. Consciously create an association in your mind and body. This anchor equals this positive feeling. Repeat this linking process several times over a few days, strengthening the connection each time. Once the anchor is established, start using it throughout your day. Whenever you notice yourself feeling stressed, anxious, reactive, pulled into negativity, or simply disconnected from your center, consciously deploy your resonance anchor. Take one deliberate calming breath. Perform the gesture, silently say the word, or flash the image in your mind. As you do so, intend for it to instantly bring you back to the feeling state you linked it with. Allow it to be a quick reset button, a way to interrupt the negative pattern and immediately remind you of and help you shift back towards your chosen frequency of peace, trust, and abundance. Use it frequently. This simple yet powerful ritual becomes your portable tool for sustaining resonance amidst the inevitable challenges and noise of daily life, keeping your resonance key polished and potent. And so, we arrive at the conclusion of our shared exploration, but it marks merely the beginning of your ongoing, lifelong journey with the inherent power of your own resonance key. Together, we embarked on a path of awakening, peeling back the layers of misconception to reveal the profound truth that prosperity, peace, and fulfillment are not destinations to be relentlessly pursued and captured, but states of being to be unlocked from within the sanctuary of your own consciousness. We learn to gently sidestep the pervasive myth of forceful effort, recognizing its limitations and often counterproductive nature, choosing instead to learn the subtle art of tuning our inner instrument through the language of feeling and the embrace of sacred silence. Through deepening practices, we moved into active co-creation, learning to consciously forge our unique key in moments of quiet stillness, sharpening our perception to recognize the universe's confirming echoes and guiding synchronicities, understanding the vital importance of shielding our sacred inner flame from discordant energies, and developing the capacity to gently dissolve the accumulated rust of past resistance. Finally, we stepped into the realm of mastery, exploring what it means to truly embody the frequency of already having, learning to discern the effortless current of inspired flow from the draining undertow of anxious push, expanding our vision to embrace prosperity's many life-enriching streams and cultivating the resilience needed to sustain our chosen resonance amidst the unavoidable complexities and noise of the world. Remember always that the resonance key is not some complex external mechanism requiring constant, vigilant manipulation or arduous maintenance. It is, in its purest essence, your natural state of being, consciously aligned with the infinite, benevolent flow of universal intelligence and abundance. It is not something you need to acquire. It is something you already possess, an ever-present potential residing within you, patiently waiting to be acknowledged, cultivated, and utilized with intention and love. The hidden trick, revealed throughout these chapters, is not a clever manipulation or a secret shortcut, but rather a profound return to simplicity. The simplicity of inner alignment, the quiet power of becoming magnetic through the quality of your being, rather than solely through the intensity of your doing. Carry the principles and insights shared here, not as rigid doctrines or demanding rules, but as gentle, compassionate reminders available whenever you need to find your center. Engage with the suggested practices not as burdensome chores to be checked off a list, but as moments of loving self-care, opportunities for profound self-attunement, and acts of devotion to your own well-being and becoming. Trust the unfolding process, even when the path seems unclear or results are not immediately apparent. Be infinitely patient and kind with yourself, celebrating small shifts and acknowledging your progress along the way. Release the ego's attachment to specific timelines and outcomes, and instead cultivate a deep appreciation for the journey itself, falling in love with the feeling of your own expanding awareness and resonance. The universe is a field of infinite possibility, an ocean of boundless abundance, constantly offering its gifts, its support, its grace. Your personal resonance key is your unique inherent ability to tune yourself to receive these gifts, to say a clear, unwavering yes to the well-being that is your birthright. Hold this understanding gently within your heart. Trust implicitly in the power of your aligned inner state, and allow the doors to true prosperity in all its magnificent, diverse, and fulfilling forms to swing open effortlessly before you, revealing a life of greater ease, joy, purpose, and grace than you perhaps ever dared to imagine. The key is yours. The power is yours. The choice always is yours. The time to unlock your most abundant life is eternally, profoundly now.